You say anything about that?
Maybe. Oh, here we are.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, this is the January 28th, 2025 annual meeting of the planning board, where we will have election of officers and some outstanding business. We already went through the minutes and had them signed by the secretary. We'll take roll call at this point. Mr. Abrams is absent. Mr. Costanza? Here. Ms. Hoffman?
Here.
Here. Mr. Rivera?
Here.
Here. Ms. Simmons Hurling?
Here.
Mr. Stamatopoulos? He's en route, but he's not gonna make it from Providence, absent. Mr. Sullivan? Absent. So the first order of business will be the annual election of officers for chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. Do we have a motion of nominations to maintain the same slate, or is anybody interested in running for one of those seats?
I'll make a motion to maintain the same.
Okay. I'm also open to somebody else taking chair.
I'm fine. If you're fine.
Okay. Yep. That's
Okay,
easy enough.
We have a motion by Mr. Rivera. We have a second. Second by Mr. Costanza, that we maintain the same slate of officers for the 2025 calendar year. Ms. Meg Simmons Hurling will be the chair. John Stamatopoulos will be the vice chair, and Mr. Rivera will be secretary. And that's that. I want to discuss a little bit, because at the end of the month, we're going to be having a public hearing. One of the items on the agenda will be the mechanical parking systems. As you recall, we already had a public hearing to delete mechanical parking systems from the city's ordinance. But 90 days have passed, and the city council has not adopted that change, so we had to re-advertise all over again. So we'll have another public hearing at the end of the month. Our recommendations will go to the city council, and hopefully this time, they'll make an effort to adopt it. Also, will be before us is the accessory dwelling unit ordinance. Back in August of this year, Governor Haley signed the Affordable Homes Act, which allowed for accessory dwelling units in single-family homes, meaning that an accessory dwelling unit would be allowed as of right. It can't exceed 900 square feet, and it will not be required to have any parking if it's within a half-mile radius of a T-station. If it's beyond a half-mile radius of a T-station, it will provide one additional parking spot for the ADU. So ADUs are basically designed to make housing more affordable for relatives, and they have to meet all the state building codes, health and fire codes as well. We have Mr. Abrams now present. Yeah, we just voted on a new slate of officers to be the same as the 2024.
Very good.
Okay? We're just discussing ADUs, which we'll be having a hearing on at the end of the month. As I was explaining, Governor Haley signed in the Affordable Homes Act back in August, which required cities and towns to adopt ADU ordinance, allowing ADUs in single-family homes, accessory dwelling units in single-family homes only.
Did Winter finally pass that, or our neighboring cities, or are we the?
It's required in every city and
I know
town.
it's required, but
Yeah.
some of them aren't doing it.
Yeah, well, we already did it and adopted it and but our regulations that we have on the books now
Yeah.
have to be tweaked a little bit to be in compliance with the state's new regulations. They changed a few things, so not much change for
Some of
review.
them have changed on the new 10th edition of the building code, which
Yeah.
just came out. So the ones that we passed previously have to be tweaked to the building code.
Yeah, well, they all have to comply with fire safety, health, and building codes. Also, one thing we didn't have on the books, we didn't allow it as an accessory structure before. It had to be within the principal structure, you know, so if you had a single-family home, it had to be either in the basement or on another floor. Now we're allowing it as a detached accessory dwelling unit, which means that if you, say you had a garage or you want to construct a separate structure for that purpose, but it just can't be put anywhere in the lot. We have dimensional requirements. There's going to be dimensional requirements for setbacks for these structures. Because in Revere, the lots are so small, you know, people will not be happy having you know, a two-story building going up right on their property line. So it's more designed for larger lots in rural areas and suburban areas, but we're gonna try to make it work in Revere on our lots. That
We're gonna be doing this when?
probably, we already drafted the ordinance and submitted it to the city clerk, so it'll be probably at the end of February, February 25th, we'll be having the public hearing. So I'll be working on an agenda, and I'll be sending out all the amendments to everybody.
We were up here for our reappointments there last night, and while we were here, the planning board were making some recommendations.
Sir, I'm sorry, can you turn on your microphone? Just nobody at home can hear you.
That could be a good thing.
Hi, hello, testing.
There you go.
So, as we were up here yesterday, last night, we had the community development up here, and they had made some recommendations which really did not go with the building code of 0 lot lines.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to make recommendations on 0 lot lines?
We don't allow 0 lot lines.
This is what he wants to do. This is one of his recommendations.
Oh, for.
Yeah, it was a developer.
Under the housing, affordable housing protection
That's
Act?
what he was saying. He says he still has to tweak his, in all fairness, but, you know, and I've worked in a lot of neighborhoods that have, they appear to be 0 lot lines, such as Beacon Hill. You go down Charles Street, it looks like a 0 lot line, but it's not. They all have alleys.
Yeah, right.
And they all have windows that are adjacent to one another, but there is no real 0 lot lines that they build, and I don't know where they're coming up with the 0 lot line.
I don't know, I think that'll be difficult to get past in Revere.
Are we allowed to make a recommendation on that?
Absolutely, we will be, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, when you're talking about 0 lot lines, that means no windows, because.
That means no windows and some kind of common barrier. And now, today, with the way the fire code is with sprinklers, a sprinkler could be the barrier, even though we may have a freeze up or this and that, and then it leaves you unprotected. It would have to be CMU or concrete or something non-flammable. And it could only be, sometimes it could be just one party wall, which is the way they used to do it, which is not recommended.
Yeah, again, these were just only suggestions.
Yeah,
They'll have to
yes.
go before both the planning board and city council, and there'll be a lot of input to that, believe me.
All right, very good.
Well, that's all I have this evening. If there are any questions by the board, or any questions on developments going on in the city that we need an update on? I mean, we're still waiting for Suffolk Downs to get started with the second building, the portico, which is 575 units, and that's the next big one.
Did we find out what is going on where the oil tanks used to be? Where there's a huge Gilbane banner
Yeah.
from the East Boston. Is that warehouse?
Yeah, that's Technology Warehouse. There's gonna be 2 Technology Warehouses constructed on the north side, heading north on 1A from Boston, coming to Revere. So it'll be in Revere. And one building is 310,000 gross square feet, and the other one's gonna be 275,000 gross square feet. And on the other side, they bought where the racks were for Global, they bought that property also. All the racks are coming down. That's gonna be another Technology Warehouse building of 77,000 square feet. So it'll be a smaller structure, 77,000. But the ones on the other side of the road are huge.
So they used to have oil tankers going there, which was technically, and a lot of people don't know it, that used to be called like a Revere Harbor. Is the harbor still going to be
Irving
open?
is,
or-
Irving is maintaining the pier that's there for Irving Oil. There's an old dilapidated pier that was there for Global. They're gonna keep that, but for future use, maybe marina or something like that. At this point in time, they're not tearing it down, but they're looking in the future, using it, or repurposing it for something else, for a water-based recreation or marina.
Will Irving be transporting oil in and out of there?
Irving will, from their pier, yes.
And where are they going to store the oil?
In Irving's tanks, Irving has it, their tanks are up,
Oh, their tanks are staying?
their tanks are staying. Only Global's tanks are coming down.
I thought, I had thought when they first did it, and this first happened, I believe, with the Ted Williams Tunnel. When the Ted Williams Tunnel was constructed, it didn't go in the ground like the Callahan or the Sumner.
Yeah.
It's on the ground, it's on the bottom sea floor.
Floor,
So that made it, you couldn't get, it's not a deep harbor like it used to be. So I thought Irving was moving everything up to Portland.
yeah.
They're staying?
Not that I know of, they're staying.
And they're gonna have how many tanks? Any idea?
Whatever the number of tanks they have there now.
They're all staying
They're all
still?
staying. They're not
So the
all-
warehouse is gonna be built around the Irving tanks?
No, Irving's further, south of the Global site,
This, the gas station.
yeah,
Near the,
Near the
gas,
station?
near the in the back of the gas station?
yeah.
Off,
So what you see now for tanks up there are
Furlong
staying.
Drive?
Yeah,
So when you made the U-turn, that's
Yes.
their entrance,
That's, it, okay,
right by the gas station.
yep.
So the warehouses are like
Oh,
probably 100
okay, where
feet
the
down.
Irving
coming
gas
this way.
station is, okay.
yeah.
Frank, anything on the overlook?
Nothing yet. They have not come forward with their, they came with a preliminary site plan for their retail component. I believe, which was 10,000 square feet of retail. They have not, they have a lot of work to do before that starts because they have to relocate the entrance drive
Yep.
to get that in. So they have all this work to do with the infrastructure before they come forward with that.
Now, any of that is gonna come through any of the boards, planning board or
Uh,
ZBA?
No, that won't. Only, they may have to re-subdivide that entranceway, which will come before the planning board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have a
What
say.
about the trailer park, Route 18?
The trailer park is on hold right now. Nothing going on there. Yeah.
It was called the overlay district.
That's,
Yeah, that's what they were.
Route 18,
Mm-hmm. They were calling it.
is that what it is?
You're talking about the trailer park. I think
Yeah,
they were.
The trailer park is
Near Target,
it's a 40A overlay district.
yeah. Anything else coming up?
Well, we have a, between 550 and 560 Revere Beach Boulevard, there's like 4 homes there. There's a plan to take those down and build a 54-unit condominium there with a restaurant on the roof.
Oh, nice.
That's in the environmental permitting stages right now.
You say that's on 550? Is that near Mill Creek?
It's before Mill Creek. It's before the breakers.
Okay.
So between Kelly's and the breakers in that area. Yeah. And Gibson Point has a temporary occupancy point permit right now. That's 291 units at Gibson Point. They've completed, I don't know if you've seen the building, if you've walked the site, there's a lot of amenities there, there's a lot of public benefit, open space to the waterfront there, because they had to go for a Chapter 91 license to fill tide lands. So there's a boardwalk around the building tying into Gibson Park, which is attractive. that was never there before. It used to be just large asphalt, pieces of asphalt and rebar and concrete. Now it's all native vegetation species, you know, going down to the water.
Frank, across the street from the Prime gas station, they had they used to have a little bridge going across to DuPont Paint that used to be over there. So there's a footpath there now?
I thought they closed that bridge down and there's
That's what I thought,
no
but
access there at all.
it looks like they're doing some kind of pedestrian way.
I don't know. I think that there's a substation going there for National Grid. That's what you may be looking at, that they're doing there. right
Maybe
at
just
that
a
corner.
walkway to the
Yeah,
substation.
that's all. They have a little parking area for that, employees there. And that's it.
There was another project on North Shore Road, near Wonderland.
Yes, yes.
Is that off the table, or?
That's 85 units. They've applied for a building permit there. They need curb cut permits from Mass Highway. They have to do a traffic study. But they're getting anxious to get started there with that building. Yeah. So that's a 10-story building, 84 units.
It's a small space.
I know.
They've taken
We'll see.
one of the houses down, right?
Well, the used car sale's coming down, and there's a house in the back that they bought also. That's coming out.
Where is this? This is on top, after you hit the ramp?
At the northern part of Wonderland parking lot on North Shore Road, as you're heading up towards Lynn.
Yes, there's a little
used-
convenience store. It used to be the marble store,
No, this is on the other side, heading north.
heading north. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a car dealership there?
There's a car dealership there. Yeah. It's only total about 17,000 square feet.
10-story building?
Yeah. So,
You already went to approvals?
they got zoning approvals through the zoning board of appeals. They need a number of relief from the ordinances on setbacks and dimensional controls, and they were successful in getting that from the ZBA.
How close are they allowed to go to the MBTA?
Well, they abut the MBTA, but they have, that's another thing, they have to get a authorization signed by the Secretary of Transportation. Any construction adjacent to a railroad right away, they need that. So we're waiting on that.
How many,
We also have the Central County ditch that runs along that property in the back there.
does that go all the way through the Point of Pines? Is that the same?
That goes all the way up to Oak Island, and then it takes a sharp left and right behind the St. George and goes underneath North Shore Road and out to Diamond Creek. And that drains everything from this part of Revere in the high school, the whole
In the-
area drains out through
The
there.
existing high school?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So,
Going to be a busy year.
it's gonna be a busy year if these projects get off the ground. The plans, you know, putting the plans together is one thing, but actually building is another.
All right. Well, congratulations to the new officers.
And a big project we're working on is a resiliency project with the city of Boston for Bennington Street. Raising the elevation of Bennington Street and building a berm to prevent flooding on Bennington Street, the MBTA station, the Blue Line, the Beachmont School. That area is very susceptible to flooding, and it's actually a route that's used for, you know, if there's flooding, it's an access route to get out of there. So, we're working with Boston, because they're working on the side of Bennington Street on Boston side, and we're working on our side, so.
Will the road be elevated, or are they
The road-
just going to put
One
a
of the plans is
berm?
elevating the road and then building a berm on the marsh side to prevent water coming in.
It won't be built on the Beachmont school side, will it?
No,
Just on the other, the
We're
opposite
protecting the
side?
Beachmont School in Fredericks Park, in the park, and we're wrapping it around Belle Isle to protect those homes on Belle Isle Ave and some of those other homes.
Which is in back of the Beachmont School.
Yeah. So that's a flood pathway. I don't know if you noticed when that, when we get those very, very high tides and storms, Bennington Street gets flooded at that point, at that low point. And it gets into the VFW parking lot, and then basically it's impassable.
Are they going to do any berm in that Belle Isle area in back of, what's that, Monticello?
Montfern?
Montfern?
Yeah. That's the plan, to take the berm around the outside of Fredericks Park, adjacent to the Belle Isle Creek, and tie it into high ground, just north of the yacht club.
Are they dredging also?
No dredging,
Dredging wouldn't help?
no. When you're talking about the whole Atlantic Ocean, you can make it as deep as you want. Water's gonna come in to a certain elevation.
Or maybe the yacht club would have a little more water amongst some of their
Yeah, I mean,
vessels.
the only dredging that's done now is for navigation.
Yes.
basically.
Do they dredge? They're not planning any dredging at all?
No, I mean, it's difficult to get these permitted through coastal zone management and DEP, because everything now is nature-based solutions. I mean, the easy solution was to build a seawall, you know, right near the VFW and along Bennington Street, and bring it in, and we wouldn't have to use so much land to create this berm, which is gonna be like, it'd probably be like 8 feet high, so you need, you know, at least 3-to-1 slopes on each side, so you're talking something that's 20 feet wide. You know, and the yacht club, I mean, the VFW, we have to work with them. They're not too pleased about this because a portion of their parking lot is gonna be needed for the berm. So we're working out something with them to do so their parking gets relocated to the school side. And that's basically it.
I know when I was on the school department, on the school committee, we had allowed parking at the Beachmont School for the VFW. But then later on, they put a fence there.
Yeah.
Are they gonna open that back up, you think, or negotiations with the school committee?
Well, we'll have to, if we're gonna need a portion of their land to construct the berm. The thing is, we would take an easement on their property, construction easement for the berm, and we'd give them a parking easement on the school property.
Most of their stuff are on the weekend, most of their parking at the VFW on the weekend or at night.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be
And they
affecting
also
the
have
school
that,
hours.
That cell tower that they get revenue from. I don't know if you ever noticed it in the parking lot of the VFW. So we have to,
That's gonna be relocated?
I don't know how we're gonna relocate it. We just may have to elevate it and put it on top of the berm. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, this Bennington Street is such an important evacuation route, you know, both to the city of Boston and to the city of Revere. So, you know, we're both partnering on this project. I mean, you have Suffolk Down Station, you have Beachmont Station, the blue line is flooded, and,
Are they elevating the blue line, the tracks?
no, the plan is to, you know, cut off the water before it gets,
Just cut it
Yeah.
off?
yeah.
So that will be
And then
on,
the environmental agencies want Belle Isle Marsh to be able to migrate, so if we build the berm, they want the marsh to migrate up the sides of the berm. It's, God forbid we take a couple of Phragmites away.
so are you, is community development doing this with a
We're
a
working with
partnership with
Boston
the city of
Redevelopment
Boston?
Authority, yeah.
You know, I invited Lynn into it. I mean, they use Bennington every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how they commute from Lynn, Salem,
We'll be
Swampscott.
having meetings on this as we get further along in the design process. we're taking borings right now and doing survey work, and the engineers will be coming up with a concept that we present to the public and to the VFW. They're the ones that have the main impact, because their building is right there.
CCR is doing some outreach meetings, and here's a public meeting tomorrow as well at the Historical Society.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be able to.
Well, there's a meeting tomorrow night, yeah, regarding Pearl Ave flooding. Yeah.
It's a pervasive issue.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have this evening, and you'll be getting an agenda for the end of the month of February for those public hearings for the ADUs and the mechanical parking system. I don't know if you were here, Hal, but yeah, we have to advertise the elimination of the mechanical parking system again, because the city council didn't adopt it within a 90-day period, so Ashley had to re-advertise it.
While we were waiting, and I only saw the schematic of it, they are gonna be putting a major parking facility.
That's correct.
Are they going to be affected by this mechanical endeavor?
No.
Being
No,
banned?
this is a commercial parking garage that's being proposed behind Northgate for 600 vehicles. So they're up before the city council for a special permit right now for the construction of that. on
Has there
property
been
owned by,
any
Caruso.
backlash about people or developers wanting to use some kind of elevator system?
No,
No?
no, I don't think, it's
Nothing?
costly, and it's not, it's more of a pain in the neck to maintain, and,
It's not as easy as a lot of people see it or
Exactly.
kind of remember it. It's changed throughout the years, and
You say that's behind Norgate?
yeah. So that project will bring in a lot of revenue to the city. for
that's
those
gonna be
parking
just a
meters.
ramp system?
Yeah, there'll be 6 levels. Yeah.
Hundred spaces for each floor, 600.
Yeah.
It already went in front of the city council, or?
Was that there last night?
They had the public hearing last night, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So they'll be reviewing it and voting on it at the end of the month of February. Okay, I mean, that's it. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
So ordered.